You're live with the Million Dollar Realtor podcast. My name is Jess, and thanks so much for coming on. I'm so excited. We have Rachel Watson on the show today. Hi, Rachel. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm so pumped. Today, we're going to talk about Rachel's 3 top principles on how she came from the team lead's executive assistant to an OP to investor. Like, it is unreal. I can't wait for this story. So Rachel, take it away. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. First, thank you so much for having me on. My name is Rachel Watson. I'm based out of Springfield, Missouri. And just like Jessica said, I started out as our team leader's executive assistant. Previously, before coming into Keller Williams, my background was events and hospitality. So coming into real estate, I had no idea what to expect, but I needed a little bit more balance in my life for that. So I started out as our team leader's executive assistant. Within 9 months, I had the opportunity to step into the market center administrator role. I was in that role for a little over 5 years, and I ultimately was able to be a part of the Keller Williams Hall of Fame. And from there, that gave me a lot of great backbone and understanding of how a market center is truly ran and how it can apply to even a real estate agent's business. And then this last year, I had the opportunity to step in as the operating partner for our office and ultimately become an investor in our market center.
Wow. So there's just so many questions. First of all, can you talk about what the Hall of Fame is, if anyone, our listeners, don't know?
Yeah, so the Keller Williams Hall of Fame is a prestigious award. And for the MCA portion, this goes all around your market center's financials. So having a track record of 5 years plus of growing financials, making sure that your vital signs are at least a certain threshold or above continuing, and they want to see that continued leadership growth. And one of the reasons that I love the MCA role, and one of the things that inspired me, was in the opportunity map of Keller Williams, there was a box of the MCA, and there was nothing going off of it. And I thought MCAs are leaders too, and I would love to showcase that in our market center. And so from there, it was just on a journey. And I'm so thankful for my former OP because he allowed me to just be a part of the rooms and the conversations that helped me grow my leadership lid to ultimately let me where I am today.
Yeah, that's exciting. So we're to break it down for people who are listening. So you were the executive assistant to the team lead, and then you were given the opportunity for the MCA.
Yep.
And then what came next after that?
Yeah, so in between MCA and OP, my former OP, he also became a regional director. And so in that transition, I became the general manager of our market center. So allowed me to have a little bit more leadership, a little bit more authority, since he was traveling in a different region assisting that. Also, I was able to follow him as well in that region and become the market center administrator for the region over 26 different offices. So in that time, I got to see a perspective much further than just our market center, which really inspired me to be able to come back to our office and say, hey, there's some really cool agents. There's some really cool market centers that are performing at a high level. How can we maximize that where we're at here? And so I was in the general manager seat for about a year and a half before making the OP transition.
I love it. So you're leveraging and learning from someone who's done way bigger things, which is cool, because I was just watching a video on Angela Duckworth about when you probably seen this before. When you're around people who are doing big things, it's like contagious. You also do big things. But it's also vice versa on the negative side of that. Right?
Oh, yeah. I believe full-heartedly. Jim Rohn has a quote that says, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that is so true. Even in an office environment, if you're sharing an office with someone that is a low performer, there's chances are that you may feed off of that energy and your performance may go down. And so for me, it's a very intentional thought in my mind of who do I want to be around? What goals do I have for my life? And how can I be in their world? How can I add value to their life so I can just learn from them? Because I know it will help my life grow.
Yeah. And that opportunity to travel and see those offices like that, that's unreal. Like, that's not too common. And like, from where we are, we're so rural that there's not many offices around us, right? Yeah. So you said 26 of them?
Yeah. And that's the beauty of Keller Williams. I mean, every place you go to, you meet so many amazing people that will tell you how they built their business, agents or market centers. And so anytime an agent comes into our organization, my recommendation is Go meet 5 agents, go ask them, buy them coffee and say, how can I learn from you? What would you have done different in your first year? What would you do differently now based on the market? And so from there, you're able to learn and collaborate. And I think that's the secret sauce of Keller Williams as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree because I feel like that's a little mini playbook of its own. If I was new, I would 100% go and meet with realtors and shadow them, learn from them. Like there's so much information you can gather.
Yeah, it's a wealth of knowledge. You just have to be willing to go out and ask and not be afraid of looking dumb or asking the wrong question because we've all been there before. Yeah. It's just having the courage to make that first step.
Yeah, being persistent and showing up. And okay, so then how did you get into the OP role?
Yeah, so through conversations, so I just had a baby at the beginning of the year. And when I was pregnant, I was having conversations with my operating partner of what's next for me. I feel like I'm hitting the ceiling of growth. And for me, if I'm feeling stagnant, I get kind of stir crazy. And he's like, simmer down. But
I think that's everybody who's like in real estate.
And in that, with my life change, it was, I'm ready for that next step. And we've had these conversations for the past 2 or 3 years. Actually, whenever it was about 4 years ago, I sat down in his office and said, I'm going to take your job someday. And he laughed. He's like, ha, okay. And then look at, here we are now. But through those life changes, he was actually going through some life changes. He has a mega team. You know, he was a regional director. He's been OP, and he's been the operating partner for about 8 years at that point. And so for him, he was wondering what was next for him. And so this really just came around as a beautiful transition. Again, I owe so much of my success in Keller Williams to him. His name is Dan Holt. And I'm so thankful for our investor partners because they trusted me and said, okay, we believe in you. We believe that you're going to be able to take our market center to the next level. And I think that speaks to so many real estate team owners, especially in this time. There's a lot of agent team owners that are wondering what's next for them. And the hardest thing is deciding maybe you're not the person fit to continue to lead that organization at the level it needs to be. And so what does that look like? And so I'm very thankful for him when he realized that maybe his energy and motivation didn't match where we needed to go, for him to say, here's this next opportunity. I will be here. I'll be the best mentor, investor partner you need. And I think it's yours now.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's a huge opportunity. But you know what, it goes to show it's really finding the right fit and the right who, because that opportunity might not fit for mostly a lot of people. Right?
Yeah, it's who, not how. And it's all around the people you surround yourself with and the culture and energy that they bring to the organization too.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how you got to the OP. And then let's talk about the investor aspect of it, because we wouldn't be talking in smart real estate if we're not talking about building wealth, right?
Yeah. So again, I'll say this over and over. I'm a broken record. Keller Williams has changed my life. I learned to think larger than just going and having a 9-to-5 or a W-2 kind of job. And through Keller Williams and being around who I've learned from, it started out with real estate investing. That was something I was really passionate about. And so from there, my husband and I have been able to expand our investment portfolio. Then in the last 2 years, we bought a business. We've learned on Keller Williams how to run a business. So we went out and we've bought other businesses. And so when this opportunity came up of, would you like to become an investor in your market center? Why wouldn't I? I'm already here. I know the people. I have my thumbprint on everything that's going on. And I would love to be a part of that. And that comes from showing up, like you said earlier, and doing the work. It wasn't given to me overnight. I had to come in and prove myself that, one, I know how to run this office. I know how to be financially smart about it. I know where to take us to the next level. But also, I have the influence that will help this market center grow. And a lot of market center ownership, you have to have the influence in order to continue to build upon that.
Yeah. And can you describe a little bit, like when we're talking ownership, it could be a small percentage, it could be 5%. You know, it's probably worked out with the rest of the investors. So everyone listening I always, and I just learned this too, go and ask, like, is there ownership opportunity? Because you never know. Right?
You never know. And that's typically not a conversation at a lot of companies as a whole. Yeah. And so regardless if it's a real estate brokerage or another company that you run, a lot of it you can go and you can say, do you want cash or do you want influence? Because sometimes businesses don't necessarily need the cash. They need the influence to attract more people that will ultimately allow it to help it grow. And so in those conversations with the investors, it was, okay, here's the per share price that we are going to offer. And we had different thresholds. So all of our investors, we try to have them at a minimum of 5%. So I had to have enough cash on hand to buy 5%. If I wanted to buy any additional based on what they allowed, I could do that. But there was the minimum threshold. And through there, we have investor commitments. It's not, I just give you my cash and I'm an investor. Collectively as a group, we're being bought in on this is what we need to do in order to move the business forward. And a lot of it comes from just showing up and being around with the other agents, because again, their production and their productivity goes to them as well.
On everyone, yeah. And it's that collaboration, right? Like I always say, it's our fiduciary duty as team owners to show up, because what I do reflects on our team.
Yes.
Right? I need to sleep at night knowing that they're taken care of.
Yep. A big saying in my world is do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. I have that as a plaque on my desk. And that's something that's super important for me and for our team. If we are showing up and we are telling our agents, this is what we're going to do, we better do it, because we're going to lose trust. And at the end of the day, we value their relationships and their trust so heavily.
Yeah, it's important. It's hard to run a business without that.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So let's talk about the lesson you've learned, because I kind of want to dig deep on like everything is lovely and wonderful, but I'm sure there are some hiccups along the way.
Oh my goodness. I could go on and on. We can have a whole other podcast on things.
Right?
And one of the things is I hear a lot of times is people don't care all the things you've done right. They hear about like what you did wrong. Like they want to know that. They want to know the real and raw. And one of the leadership lessons that I have learned is how much your specific relationships matter to everybody in your industry. I think in the Keller Williams world, we learn through career visioning, it's that I do it, we do it, they do it. And when we get to that they do it portion, we feel like we can back off and it's all them. And that's where I miss the most, is I almost dimmed down the relationships I had with our agents and I let our team do it. So then I didn't become present anymore to some of them. And through there, we lost some agents because it was, I'm not around or I'm busy. And so for me, it's showing up. It's having that visibility and being vulnerable. And so a lot of the times in my one-on-ones with agents, if it's a sensitive conversation, I always speak up and I'm the first one to be vulnerable with them. I need to make sure it's a safe environment, because I also know a lot of the times in our upbringings, we haven't been able to see what kind of environment it looked like to be to have a confrontational conversation or any sort of accountability. And there have been times that I did not show up in that authentic, vulnerable self that didn't create that environment for everybody to feel like they could thrive in. And so as I've went through there, the influence comes long before the title. And so it's how you're showing up and it's how you are presenting yourself to those agents. And for those agents that I had lost with, it was hard. And I had to go back and I had to rebuild those relationships over time. And it's a lot harder to rebuild those than it is to nurture it in the time.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I always kind of consider team members like clients as well. If it's the same as like a seller client, where I'm nurturing them, I'm staying in touch with them, I'm doing my quarterly calls, weekly calls, day and a half calls. Like, and when I'm like, gosh, I haven't talked to them in like 3 days, I better call and say, hey, just how's things?
Yes.
Right? Yes, it feels weird when I don't. And I agree with nurturing that relationship. It is much harder to do it later when you're like, oh, yeah, I should have did that. I agree. But we've all gone through that as leaders. Like, we will all be honest about that, right? But the best thing about a leader, though, is that you go back, you look, you learn, you reapply, you try again, and you keep going. Because most people quit.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And it's a lot easier sometimes, it feels like, to quit in the moment. And then like I have this uphill climb. And yeah, I always remind myself, like, I'm such a relationship focused person. And so being able just to make those agents feel seen, heard, supported in the time being, and just like the biggest, sometimes you just need them to hear, and when they're talking to you, say, I hear you. I don't need to solve their problem. I just need to make sure I have a space that they can talk to me and that they know that their voice is being heard.
It is. It's just that validation. It's just like my kids, actually, you know, my daughter's upset about her teacher. I'm like, you know what? You just need me to validate your feelings. I'm not going to change your teacher. I know she's frustrating, isn't she? I know. Right? Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So just that validation piece, that's for sure. Let's jump into the second part. So you grew your Market Center to over 470 agents.
Yes,
so, you know, what was the main thing you did? Like there must have been one thing where you're like, I implemented this and I got really good at it. Or is there something? There must be something.
I think it's a similar conversation that we continue to have. It's I have the right team members in place.
Yes.
I can't stand up here and say we grew our market center to over 470 agents. I can't take all that credit. I have to give that to Landon, Nicole, Mike, Erica, Drew, Shanna, all of them, because at the end of the day, without them, none of this would have happened. And so from there, it comes from clear expectations and communication. I always say in any personal or professional relationship, without clear communication and expectations, it's going to be set up to fail. You think about your spouse. If you stop talking to them or communicating, what does that relationship look like? It's the same way in a business relationship. And so from there, we just have really dialed in on our communication because we've grown fast, and with fast it becomes messy, and so then we have to realign with what we're working on. But all of it comes from our team. When I talk to other agents at other companies in our area, one of my big value propositions of why they should be at Keller Williams Greater Springfield is our leadership team, because we are devoted to help them succeed. Then as you go through, it's being able to create an environment that the agents' voices is heard. So masterminds are a big thing for us. I want to create an environment where agents can come and they can thrive and be able to cultivate the conversations themselves. So my job is just to create the location, create the space, start with a question and let it go. Because from there, that's where people really grow. And people don't need me to talk all the day, like all the time. Like there's no reason for it. So being able for them to learn from each other is a huge aspect of that.
Great idea. I'm going to use that too. That's one, because it makes sense, because you're letting them be the drivers when we don't have to be the drivers all the time. Right?
It's the easy button. It's the easy button.
Yeah.
Team. Like if you were a team leader, then you could go to your real estate team and say, here's where I want to start the conversation, and go. And then you can see where it happens, because a lot of the times we don't realize how much we influence the conversation, even if we don't think we are. And then from there, people are going to respond to how they think we want them to respond. And then you lose all of the magic of a mastermind. And so being able just to have a mastermind, and what we've done recently is break it down by perspective. So we'll have a luxury mastermind, a commercial mastermind, an operations mastermind, an under 30 mastermind, because what they need in their business is different than what our agents that have been in the business 15 plus years need. And so from there, you get to learn where are your gaps in your business and who on your team can help fill those and move that forward.
I love that, because it helps collaborate your team members with each other, which I think is huge. Because you think about an individual realtor, to collaborate, they always hold their cards to their chest, and they work with someone super, super close. But is that someone really bringing you to that next level, right? Where on a team, when you are collaborating and growing amongst one another, I've seen it, it's like exponential.
Yes. And with a team, you can have that collaborative environment. And so from an individual agent, as a brokerage owner, how can we create that environment of 100 individual agents so they still feel like they're part of a team, even if their brand identity is separate? And so that's where the masterminds come into play. And sometimes it's even better to bring an outside person to facilitate that mastermind. So you're the one leading it. So it breaks down all the walls of what they think how they need to respond.
I always love throwing a pattern interruption in it. They're like, wait, who's coming? I'm like, yeah, you'll see.
That's great. Yeah.
So funny. So in your market center, are you helping build teams, or do you have a team of your own?
So my husband has a real estate team. It's a smaller team through here. My main priority is our brokerage leadership team. He runs the real estate sales business. I'm only involved in transactions if we're buying our own real estate. And we have some other, like a foundation and other things that we are a part of as well. But my main goal when I come in is for our brokerage. So we have a leadership team of about 11 people. That also includes an in-house transaction coordination company and some agent marketing as well. And so my week is full of either agent coaching appointments or our team 411 appointments. 'Cause a lot of it is helping them move their business forward on that side, whether it's on the brokerage or agent side for that.
Yeah. Would you find that the teams that you're working with right now are like growing and moving forward much faster because of your background and experience?
I wouldn't say it's from me. I do believe I bring a perspective of the hiring aspect because I have hired everybody on our leadership team. I love career visioning. That is the one class I love to teach all the time. But through that, I'm able to help our teams move it forward. But right now, we're seeing a couple of different paths for our agents. We're seeing a lifestyle agent where they have things that are more important than like essentially growing a team of real estate. They got into real estate for the flexibility so they could be, a mom that is present for her kids, or maybe they have another business, or maybe it's for investments. And we're calling them more of a lifestyle agent. And so their focus is transactions and getting more business. Then we have another agent that is on the business building side. And for them, it's creating leverage and to grow a team for either more transactions or more ancillary opportunities within it. And so from those two different paths, it's a different conversation. And a lot of it comes down to, do you want more time or money? And if you had to pick one, which is the most important? And then from there, we can create a plan forward.
Yeah, I love that. It's really important because there are always differences in your realtors and what their goals are, right? And I always love, I think I'm a nerd with career visioning too. I'm like obsessed with it. I carry it around with me. I carry my goals with me. I carry my team's goals with me.
I love it. I'm a big goal setting person. And so for us, that's a big focus for us a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yep, it is. And it makes the conversation fun. Like when a team member hits their goal, you're like, oh my gosh. I think I'm more excited sometimes than they are.
I know I am. And I will tell you that is one of my downfalls at times is sometimes I don't celebrate the wins as much as I should. And so that's the learning path for me on my leadership journey is once we've hit a goal, I have to be very conscious to stop and celebrate it versus being like, great, we hit it, on to the next, let's double it, let's go.
Yeah.
And so I have someone on my team that I have like said, hey, I know I'm not really good at this. So if we do this, I'm empowering you to be like, okay, team outing. Let's go do that. Let's go get breakfast. Let's do something. Because in my natural tendency, it's going to be like, okay, let's keep going. And I don't want to deflect or change any of the culture within the team from that.
Yeah, that's fair. So if you were to tell someone like one thing from your experience from being the team leader as executive assistant, becoming OP, investor, and I love how you have your role fairly situated of like, this is my role, this is my husband's role, we have our own market center. If someone was thinking about doing what you're doing, what is like one thing you're like, definitely this is the biggest thing I've learned?
The power of the people you surround yourself with over and over. I've always been a person that if there's a room, I love when people tell me I can't get into rooms because I'm like, okay, how can I?
Then can I? Yeah, I know.
What metric I need to hit? Who do I need to meet? What can I do? And so that was one of my big ahas when I was able to go to Keller Williams International and sit in the regional directors room and hear those conversations. My knowledge and my understanding grew. And so from there, if you have an idea of where you want to go, don't be afraid to ask and say, hey, can I just sit in the room? I don't have to talk. I just want to listen. Don't be afraid to ask that question because I truly believe the power of surrounding yourself with people. And then the last thing, it's writing your goals down. I'm a big person that you have to write them down to even have an understanding because it's in one ear and out the other if you don't. And when I went through and did a 7 circles exercise out of the one thing with all the 7 circles, I wrote down what I wanted my life to look like a 10 in each of those circles and where am I at now? And from there, I was able to gauge, was I close to it or how far away was I? And then knew the action steps I needed to take. And so I would say don't be afraid to try to get into the rooms and then just really having an understanding of clarity of what success looks like for you in your life.
Yeah, I agree with that one because it's different for everyone and at different like it changes in like a week sometimes, right?
It does. And as your life evolves and my husband and I, we got married and then we had a baby, like our goals and what we want changes. And so going back and reevaluating that and being okay with if the progress is slow or maybe if you're changing paths, that's okay. It's just where do you want to go next?
Well, I love it because I like being persistent and not taking no for an answer has gotten me many places. And I'm like you're gonna tell me I can't get in that room? Well, let's go.
Yep. Tell me who I need to meet. I'm ready for it. I'll sit there, I'll mic run, I'll take notes, I'll do whatever you need as long as I can be in the room and listen.
Yeah. It's a really good strategy. I love it. Right on. Well, that's our time. Thank you so much for coming on. Can you let everyone know how they can get a hold of you or where they can find you?
Yes. So if you would like to connect with me on socials, I'm on Instagram, Rachel Watson 41 or the Rachel Watson. And then I do have a Facebook and LinkedIn. But if you need to email me for anything, my email is rachelwatson1@kw.com.
Woo!
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you so much for coming. That was a great episode.
Thank you.